name is Christine Joy Guillermina Gutierrez, and I will going to report about the communication process, the types of communication, and the function of communication. So, in the process of communication, there is a sender, the channel, the message, the receiver, and the feedback. So again, communication is the process of giving and receiving information between a human source and a human receiver using symbols, action, or words. The sender is the source of the message. Message, that is the idea or thought that they were talking about. Next is the receiver. From the word receive, it is the person who received the message. And of course, the feedback. What is the feedback of the receiver or how they understand the message? So, our next topic is the types of communication. So, there are three types of communication: the intrapersonal, the interpersonal, and the public communication. So, the first types of communication is the intrapersonal. It involves talking to yourself. Like, for example, if you're asking yourself about your decisions or the things that you should do. Intrapersonal also allows us to get to know more about ourselves. Like, try to know our feelings, our emotions, about a certain things, so that we will be able to understand ourselves. In interpersonal communication, it involves talking to a limited number of people. When interpersonal communication is between two people, it is called dyad or dyadic communication. There are many examples of dyadic communication, like a husband and a wife, a parent and a child, a job interviewer and an interviewee, and two people on a date. And if interpersonal communication is between three or more people, now it is called a small group. The last types of communication is the public communication. It involves communicating to a wide group of people. So, you should not talk about or a topic that may not understandable. In this type of communication, it requires a feedback and a clarification on how they understand the topics. In public speaking, the speaker sometimes need to exaggerate his or her gestures and facial expressions. For added effect, he or she must also show a good posture. And the intercultural communication involves communicating with a person or a group of people who may not be the same assumption and requires a lot of caution. The next topic that I will report is the function of communication. It serves four major functions within a group of organization. First is the control. Second is the social interaction. Third is the emotional control. Fourth is the motivation. Fifth is the emotional expression. And last is the information. The first one is the regulation or control. It can be used to control the behavior of human beings. It can be used to regulate the nature. Regulation and control is also in the form of imperative, declarative, or the answer that may be yes or no that is called rhetorical questions. Next is the social interaction. Social interaction is an exchange between two or more individuals and is a building blocks of society. Interacting with one another, people design rules, institutions, and systems within they seek to live. There are many examples of social interaction like greetings, engagement proposals, and etc. Example also is let's go out on a date to have some coffee. Next is motivation. It is the communication that refers to a person to express his or her feelings, emotions, desires, and choices. It is like in the regulation. It can be also commands, rhetorical questions, and declaratives. Example like, my ambition, I want to be a chemical engineer. Or, what you want, or like, I want to eat ice cream. Motivation is to express your desires or want in your life, so that you will be able to communicate what are preferences or needs. Next major function is the information. It used for getting or giving information. It can be statement, questions, or imperatives. Examples of information is, where can I get my license? And in the bathroom, right next to this door. Communication as information enables humans to get to know the world. Next is emotional expression. Many people always need to express their emotions. Our emotions represent who we are or what our feelings towards something. Emotions express love, anger, joy, fear, and hope. Example like what your heart tells or what you feel. Next is the special case of expressing opinions. The function which expressing an opinion depends on the purpose in which it is done. In communication, you can always give your own opinions in one thought or idea. Expressing your opinions to someone helps them to understand your suggestions or thoughts. Last is improving your conversation skills. To improve our conversation skills, you should pay attention and show interest to the person who is talking. There are so many tips here. So first, be sensitive to other participants' desire to speak. So if some people want to suggest something, you should let them and understand. You should not interrupt when they are talking because it might offend them, and show respect. So, that is the major function of communication. So, I will just add something. If someone is reporting, you should understand and pay attention to what is talking about so that you will be able to answer if there are some questions for you. This is all my report. I hope you understand. I share all my knowledge about communication. Try to analyze and put it in your mind so that you will be able to share it to someone.